I'm going to become king of the pirates! Yup, that's me. You're probably begging me to stop ruining your favorite anime. Well, stay tuned because later in this video, I'm gonna be trying to recreate some of the greatest voice acting performances of all time. But before we get into all that, I'm going to be asking you guys a very important question. Off the top of your head, how many voice actors can you name in under, I don't know, 30 seconds? You can say 5, maybe butcher names and say 6, maybe 10 if we're really pushing it. But if you're a casual like me who doesn't know anything about voice acting industry, probably not. And that's weird because some of these people we have heard a million times before but never know their face nor their name. For example, Mamoru Miyano has carried anime for 3 whole decades, voicing iconic characters in the 2000s like Light Yagami from Death Note, 2010's Rintaro Okabe from Steins Gate, and now in 2020 with Hikaru from Oshinoko, all anime that defined their decade. Another great example is Hiroshi Maya, who dominated the 2010s with his voice. Law from One Piece, Levi from Attack on Titan, Yato from Noragami, Saiki, and Otonashi. What about Ayane Koga, who can go from screaming emergency food, manipulative queen, to a shy high schooler with social anxiety? These are all extremely different characters, yet they share one voice. I loved Ling from Brotherhood. I think he's one of my favorite characters in that anime alongside Greed. But I also liked Okabe from Steins Gate. To see my revelation when I realized they have the same voice actor is something I want you guys to experience as well. Because even though I didn't know his name, I already had a favorite voice actor and I didn't even know it. Subscribe, like, support small creators like me, and fuck Jack. Now, contrary to popular belief, I do not live in the Philippines. I'm sorry, Jollibee, I have to forsaken you. Sorry. I actually study in Hong Kong. And back in like 2021 or 2022, we went out in middle school to see the Demon Slayer movie in theaters. Only one small problem. The movie was in Japanese. The subtitles were in Chinese. But weirdly enough, is it a stretch to say I kinda understood it? Really? Or maybe it's a delusion, a coping mechanism to like teach me like, oh, you spent a lot of money to watch the Demon Slayer movie, I'm gonna make you understand it. But weirdly enough, I watched it again with full context this time and I still got the same feeling. I kinda did understand it. I actually put it up there with that weird phenomenon where people wear masks during COVID, take it off, and they look an entirely different person than the person that was wearing a mask. That you just like, did this person switched? Like, what the fuck was going on? Why do you have a big ass nose? I was watching anime for so long that, I got used to hearing the same words over and over and over again. And instead of, understanding it like a normal person does, I felt it. I felt it in my heart. And this is called emotional comprehension, or what I like to say, complete bonkers. The visual storytelling, the musical scoring, the camera angles, and most importantly, the voice actors. And this is why I wanted to make this video. Great voice acting could make or break your series. There is some iconic voice acting like Aya Hirano's Haruhi Suzumiya, Takehito Koyasu's Dio Brando, and of course, who could forget Mayumi Tanaka's Monkey D. Luffy. The euphoric feeling of recognizing someone's voice in another series and realizing their favorite characters were played by the same person is just like a feeling that you can't replicate. It's like this euphoric feeling that you get in your balls. It might be better than sex because I haven't felt sex. Like, did you know the actor from Dr. Octopus from PS4 Spider-Man, the brilliant sociopath who tried to poison an entire city, is also the same idiot with half an ass who tried to change his name to Trashball. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the beauty of it. I'm not going to lie and say I'm the greatest otaku to ever live. I still don't know any Japanese voice actors. If they walked past me while I'm working a shift at Five Guys, I probably wouldn't recognize them. But if I'm taking their order, I would have definitely say, your voice kinda sounds familiar. If the voice actor for Subaru comes to Five Guys and orders like a meal, I would have definitely go to like a PTSD mode and say like, oh my god, I know your voice. I know your voice. please do the voice. For example, Darkness from Konosuba is one of my favorite characters of all time. The hopeless crusader who invested all of her points on defense, who turns out to be an extreme over-the-top masochist who wants to be manhandled. Who knew that this meatloaf of a warrior has the same voice actor as Chizuru from real life, who is a socially detached high schooler who lacks social cues. Someone who can't even smile to save her life has the same voice actor as someone who loves to be embarrassed. And if you combine the personality of Chizuru and the design of Darkness, you get Shina Mashiro from Pet Girl Sakura. And they're all played by the wonderful Kayano, who also voiced Shiro from No Game No Life, Alice from SAO, and Sylphie from Mushoku Tensei. Even if you don't recognize her name and face, just hearing her voice and seeing the character she plays with, you will find 2 or 3 characters that you know and be surprised that they were actually voiced by one person. Another great example is Sora Amamiya, who voices the quiet silent killer Akami from Akami the Kill, and the clumsy angelic princess Elizabeth from 7 Deadly Sins. She also plays Chizuru from the anime that shall not be named, the useless goddess Aqua, and the gold protector Toka from Tokyo Ghoul. Each character is as different as the next, flying through all the different deres, tsunderes, kuderes, yandere, each one of them of a different genre and theme, yet one voice strings them all together. I can't even begin to tell you while researching this video, I cannot stop thinking about another character's voice. Because once you group them all together, you can't really put them back anymore. At least that's what I feel. You can't stop hearing the characters anymore. You start hearing the voice actor instead. It's like learning a magic trick or an optical illusion, and once you know how it's done, you see it everywhere. Like I said, Fairy Tail is one of my favorite animes of all time. It's the anime that got me into anime because my crush in first grade recommended to me and you should watch this anime. I did some research and found out that Aya Hirano, the person who plays Haruhi Suzumiya, also voices Lucy from Fairy Tail. So when I watched Haruhi Suzumiya last week, all I can think about is not Lucy, it's about Aya Hirano. I just hear Aya Hirano. Every time Haruhi would speak, I still think about the days Lucy tried to open her celestial keys. And while I didn't watch Death Note on Japanese dub, she was also Misa Amane from Death Note and Izumi Konata from Lucky Star. If you ever get the free time, please go look at some of your favorite anime of all time, and you might find 2 to 3 voice actors who also voice acted in some of your favorite anime of all time. But sometimes you don't recognize them. Some voice actors do their job so perfectly well and actually be voice actors. They not only change their voice, but they changed everything about them. Rei Takahashi plays the crazy explosion girl in Konosuba and is also the sweet silver-haired half-devil in Re:Zero. 2 completely different characters who have the rare occurrence to have interacted once before in an anime called Isekai Quartet. Atsumi Tanesaki plays the elf girl who wants to understand humans and the crybaby little girl who can understand all the humans. Hiroki Yasumoto by far has the funniest casting, since he essentially plays the same role in 2 different series. He plays the weapons merchant Milis Andrew Gilbert from Sword Art Online and Elhart from Shield Hero, who is also a weapons merchant. And looking at them side by side, you can probably tell why they're practically the same. Both are, and both are black. Yuki Kaji plays the mass murderer Eren Yeager and the harem Kim Issei from High School DxD. Nobuhiko Okamatu plays the reckless explosion boy Bakugo, the gorgeous tiger Garfield, and the crazy gun-obsessed Genya, which all sound like the same character from the same cloth, but then you let him play the man of all men, Himmel the hero, who is the complete opposite of almost all the roles he was playing before, and he played it to perfection. A very ambitious project was about a romance anime where 5 girls who look alike were all gonna be voiced by one person. The anime was called Quintessential, quintuplets. Miku, Yotsuba, Nino, Itsuki, and the other one were all gonna be voiced by Sakura Ayane, who voices Tomorinao from Charlotte and Ochako from My Hero. Ultimately, they made the right decision casting other voice actors for each one of the girls, but they still hired Sakura Ayane to voice Yotsuba, and funny how things ended up with that. Each of the girls, on the other hand, ended up having an A-tier to near S-tier voice actors playing them. Best Girl Nino is voiced by Ayana Taketatsu, who plays another Nakano in K-On!, and Koneko from High School DxD. And as a side note, 3 of her other characters almost committed near incest storylines: Kotori, Sugua, and Kyosuka. So maybe she's being typecasted for this, but who knows. Inori Minase plays the obese cupcake-loving Itsuki Nakano, plays the sleeping beauty Rem, and Hestia in Danmachi. Miko Ito actually has the same name as one of her most iconic characters, as she plays the quiet tryhard who should be best girl in other anime if it weren't for her older sister. And we all know who voices this girl because I'm actually disgusted. I actually threw up in my mouth, peed my pants a little, that I found out she was actually on a dairy. The best girl who couldn't confess until the last chapter of the anime is the same girl who tried underlying tactics, ruined the sister, the family hood to get the boy that she wanted. And at this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, these people are insanely talented. Voice actors in any other place are treated much more different than they are in Japan. In Japan, they're basically treated like actual A-list actors. They have schools, award shows, typecasting, nicknames. For example, one very popular nickname goes to Rei Kogamiya, whose nickname is the Queen of Tsundere, primarily because she voices some of the most iconic tsunderes in all of anime. Shana from Shakugan, Louise from Familiar of Zero, Arya from Arya the Scarlet Ammo, and of course, the Tiger Princess herself, Taiga Asuka from Toradora, who she won the Voice Actress Award for. Another famous nickname goes to Yoshiko Masuka, who is nicknamed as the Harem King, for his many characters he played who has a harem. Kirito from Sora Online, Suma from Food Wars, Belle from Danmachi, and of course Futuro from Quintessential Quintuplets. Now, just by listing all the A-list actors and their most iconic characters might make you think a voice actor's job is very easy. You just go to the booth and play a huge role and everybody kisses you, maybe lick your feet and toes, maybe like that. But in reality, a voice actor's job requires years of work to even get a leading role in one of the top anime. Case in point, Asami Seto. Today, she's known for characters like Nobara, Mai, Raftalia, 3 very huge roles, but let's rewind her career back to the very beginning when she started voice acting in 2010. And back in those days, she just bounced across different projects. She was Delta in Overlord, Kurakami, Chihaya. She spent years voice acting background characters, getting minor supporting roles, main characters that aren't really the focal point of any popular series, or maybe series that people might forget later on. It's not until 7 years later when she gets her first big role in fall of 2018, a slice of life romance anime called Bunny Girl Senpai. It took 7 whole years to get that breakthrough of a role. Then after 2018, next year she gets Raftalia. Then the next year after that, she gets Nobara, one step at a time. Another great example is Sayori Hayami. She started off in niche anime like Musubi in Sekirai. She was 3 different characters in 07 Ghost. She was Kaguya in Fairy Tail. Then she gets her first lead role as Asuki Miho from Bakuman, the brother-loving Miyuki from Irregular Magic High School, Shinoa in Seraph of the End, then Visha from Tanya the Evil. All very generic stuff. It's not until she gets her breakout role as Yukino from Origaru that she really hits a stride. Because after that, all of her characters who should be, at the same range just leveled up. Because then she becomes Shinobu from Demon Slayer and Yor Forger from Spy X Family. All completely different characters. These are all extremely talented people because becoming a voice actor in Japan isn't about, just having a nice voice. I have a nice voice. Actually, no. I'm not even gonna go there. I don't have a nice voice. I have a weak-ass Filipino average boy who don't even know where babies come from. VTubers, we give them credit. I just saw a post. Some VTubers are gonna, voice act in the English dub of School Days, which is absolutely crazy. Not the VTubers voicing, School Days. I think that's wonderful for them. School Days is getting a dub. school days. Like, school days is getting new content in 2026. Like, come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Please, why? I might play it, honestly. But again, VTubers, we give them credit for, having nice sounding voice. Yet the difference between them and voice actors might be extremely different. Voice actors, they can act. Most aspiring voice actors, or seiyus, which they're called in Japan, spend years training before they even book an official speaking role. They learn how to act, how to pronounce better, breathing techniques, script reading, and sometimes even singing and dancing. Some seiyus become idols, become agents, become TV actors, YouTubers, TV hosts. Some audition in real movies, while some become their character. And the more I went deeper into the rabbit hole, the more I realized voice acting is its own culture. If you want a character to be loved, get Kenjiro Soda. Want a girl in a harem? Get Naoya Toyama. You want someone melt in their seats? Get Yuichi Nakamura. And to show how hard it is, I'll be attempting to perform some of the greatest voice acting in anime history. What? There's no way. What is he talking about? If really was L, he'd never admit to it. I thought this guy was a bit strange, but this is pretty extreme. Stop. This isn't good. Don't act surprised. On the off chance there really is L, I have to act how Suricho Yagami's son, Light Yagami, would act. There's no reason for him to be afraid. You are who you say you are. You have nothing but respect and admiration. That was bad. That was really bad. I missed a few lines. Dang it, that was really bad. I think I was trying to copy his voice, like, Light's voice actor's voice in the dub. But man, it's hard. It's hard, man. I understood the situation. Light is in complete shock that someone who might be L revealed himself to be L right in front of him. For Light, that is not a smart thing to do, okay? And it's unpredictable, but that is who L is. So Light is in a crossroads, you might say. Holy shit, this might be L, and holy shit, this might be some homeless guy. That is, that's the thing I was going for. But I was more like copying, someone's already existing voice than to actually give my take on it. That's very hard. That's very hard. I will try better next time. I didn't explain myself very well yesterday. I've been taught a lot for the past few years. It's very hard. I'm realizing that I go all through those things to learn the truth. I thought I had lost my honor, and somehow my father was gonna give it to me. But I know now, no one can give you honor. It's something you earn by yourself, choosing. I effed it. This is the moment that we're all been waiting for. Suko becomes good and joins Team Avatar. And looking at all the things he done, going through his sister, his uncle, his father, Suko finally saw the path that he needed to go. So in a way, this is a cry for help. This is desperation. Suko needed to help the Avatar more than the Avatar needed him to learn firebending. At least that's what I was going for. 3 years of this madness, surrounded by idiots. We're only kids. What do we know about anything? Why did there have to be people like this? Why? How did I let myself devolve into such a half-assed piece of shit? It's too late now. Damn it, if I know what's right. Who cares? It is what it is. No choice but to face what I done. As a warrior, no road left but the one that leads to the end. If you ever watch Attack on Titan, you know that Reiner is probably the most tragic character of them all, especially forced to play both sides. So I kind of wanted to give him the stress of the double life, the guilt he had for killing all those people in in the first episode, Marco and stuff. It's a spoiler, I'm gonna cut that out, okay? His personality disorder coming to play. I want to give Reiner the voice of absolute delusion, absolute despair of I just don't know what's going on. I just asked Eren to cup with me. casually, like we're friends or something. That, you know, someone who don't know their identity. That is who Reiner is at the moment. But again, I'm no professional voice actor, so go easy on me in the comments below. But I really tried my best, you know. That's the first time. It's the first take. I was like acting more than like voice acting. I wanted to understand the voice actor. I want to understand not only, you know, the character, and I want to know where the character is at the moment and build up on that. What will they sound like? Project myself into that situation. But again, I'm not a professional. Do me a favor next time, okay? Next time you watch anime or recognize a voice, you're unconsciously entering a rabbit hole I just fell on. Then you'll start recognizing more voice actors in the process. Subscribe, like, support smokers like me. I love you guys. Real one say back.